chant, you're inviting the aprakrita prana of the holy name to enter into your system, and it does avibhav, it descends and then takes over your prana. So avirbhuya manobrito prajanti tatsurup, that means it becomes the same, tatsurupatam, swayam prakaso vibhava, and even though it's self-manifesting, vasamana prakasyavat, it appears like, just like your Gyan Vritti, the light of consciousness of your soul, is illuminating the movements of your chitta. It appears like you're illuminating this, but this is illuminating itself. It's self-manifesting transcendental light, which is beyond your power. So we cannot know the divine realm, but when Ram Prabhu manifests in our chitta vrittis, he reveals all of our perceptions right now. They're coming from our chitta vritti. So when Nam appears, then these perceptions melt away, ruchi vischittamasanya, and give us perception of the spiritual world through this chitta vritti. So it's very fascinating.
Yes,
the main explanation is 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and 11th canto. The discussions of chitta, of Pran, Sutta Tattva, everything. And then you can read, I believe it's the 3rd chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in the first quadrant of the ocean. After Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, then 2 verses come. This Avirbhuya Manobito, Prajanti Tatsurupatam, and then another one, Vastuta Swayamaswada. This vritti is not only Swayam Prakash, self-illuminating, but it's also Swayam Asvadya. It's self-relishing also. So Samvit does the Swayam Prakash and Dardini does the self-relishing. So that's like a deeper explanation of the appearance of Shuddha Sattva in the first verse, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, and then this deeper explanation comes. Okay. We have still a few more days and speak a little about this unwicked. Very fascinating.
Yes, it is.
And if you chant very deeply every day, and the chitta becomes very steady, you can see how it's all going on. See it. That's not theoretical anymore.
So Shuddhanam is coming, Pure Devotee is giving Shuddhanam. So what is the relationship between the awakening of that Shuddhanam, which is given to the Pure Devotee, and this happen without receiving Shuddhanam from the Pure Devotee? This process that you're saying.
Because you won't have, the person will not even to chant, to do the bhajana kriya without sadhu sangha. Exactly. So the first stage, you come in sadhu sangha. Anyone who comes in sadhu sangha, the mukhya vritti, they were under the control of the pravritti abhas, of kriya shakti, of maya. Now they come under the control of mukhya vritti. Even those who oppose, because the leela of a pure Vaishnava can never, it's all perfect. It's all orchestrated by the internal potency. So when we come in, but especially when we have instruction, you should chant every day, and we follow it, then we stay connected. And then Kriya Shakti comes as Bhajana Kriya, then we have the power to chant. And then that makes our chitta become steady, and then in the steady chitta, then Samvit and Ladini comes. So, Satam Prasangam Mama Virya Samvido. This means the appearance of Samvit in Prakrista Sangha. Let's say someone is not so pure, but they're under Kriya Shakti of their Guru. If they meet someone, they can be connected, and they can also be influenced by the Kriya. Like that, like Shamani said to Gurudev, if I know what benefit can I make it? Gurudev said, I told you, so there'll be potency in it. But that can help the other person start the process, but not Samvit. When the devotee comes and has actual realization, that is Prakrista Sangha. Prakrista means most excellent. So Prasanga means Prakrista, most excellent Sangha. Mama Virya Samvido gives the potency of Samvit to actually produce realization, not just the mechanical practice of the activities.
So the association with Mahabhagavad gives that potency.
Yeah. Initiation or not initiation.
Okay.
It doesn't depend on that. Obviously that helps because the pancha sanskars steady the person. Help them. It helps their desire to surrender have a form and shape and expression.
But it's stated in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that to receive this Paramatic Shraddha, then one should associate with one of the 3 types of Mahabhagavats. So then Gurudev speaking about this, he says that even a Madhyam cannot do. So what does that mean? And what is the Madhyam's role? And is it so we understand only one of the 3 Mahabhagavats actually gives this Paramatic Shraddha.
Okay. Kanishta Madhyam Uttam. Vaidivaksh. Then Kanishta is before Nishta. Madhyam is in Nishta. And the Uttamadhikari is Ruchi. See, it's about
Uttamadhikari. This is
Uttamadhikari is in Ruchi.
that is for what's it? Pure devotion service.
Yeah.
So it's not
It's
Kanishta Bhakta. It's Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam.
Yes, yeah. So when you
We
use
talk about
Adhikari,
this.
yeah, when you use Adhikari, it's Adhikari. The Adhikari for doing Uttam Bhakti.
For doing Uttam Bhakti.
So Uttam Adhikari is Ruchi. He's got the highest qualification for that.
Okay, that's Adhikari.
Yes. Now Bhagavat
Yeah.
goes up to Kanishta is include up to Nishta, and then Madhyam starts from Ruchi up to Bhav. The Bhav is also a Madhyam Bhagavat. We're talking Bhagavat. Bhav is also a Madhyam Bhagavat. And then Prem, that is from Prem onwards, that is Uttam Bhagavat. But the Madhyam Bhagavat can give Sata and all these things. No problem.
Yeah, but which type of Madhyam Bhagavat? Because here, when you talk about the three types of persons who are giving, the Nidut Kosoi, Bhagavad Prasad,
Asakti, and especially Bhav. Bhav is
exactly.
but from Asakti.
So then that devotee that's in Nishta
Because in
Ruchi,
Asakti, he has some Seva Sadhaka Rupena, Siddha Rupa, realization of his own Swarupa. So he knows the process, how to come to that stage.
so then what is that devotee who's in Nishta Ruchi, what are they giving? What can they give?
They can help.
Because Gurudev said like they cannot do that.
Bhajana Kriya. Yeah. They can help the person coming to Bhajana Kriya.
But for somebody to do Bhajana Kriya, that means that then they have Paramatic Shraddha.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But apparently those three types of personalities are the ones who are given Paramatic Shraddha.
It's you know this Radha is Vishesh Sanskar. It's a special sanskar. So it depends on the degree of power of the devotee, how he can give it.
That's the question.
Exactly. No. What I mean is the degree of the power, how he'll give it. So if that devotee is a good qualified madhyam, then coming in this association, giving instructions, teaching every day, guiding everything, then gradually this special samskar comes. But one who is uttam can just go, bing, and by a glance, it's there.
That's
so
uttam.
those who are on that
Uttam.
level, they just boom, like that. But those on the lower level, they can still give. But it's a process. So for them it said, don't have many disciples, because you can't train them. They'll give it gradually through Pancha Sanskar. But Mahabhagavat then just like that. That's what it says, no Diksham and the Sakriyam. The name doesn't even depend on Diksha. Because that's a general process. For those who are like qualified, but not like Narad Muni, you can just go boom, get Prem in a moment.
So that's a Uttam. Then how about the Nidul Kasoi? You have Bhagavad Prasad, they help Prabhupada. Just by their glance they can give, like Narada Muni Gurudev would say. Then you have Nidul Kasoi. Then you have, they also can give just by the glance, Muchi Kasoi. Just by the glance, because there's different degrees of potency.
Yeah, it's
in
just
their
a question.
ability to give.
It's just a question of how fast it comes ripe. So something is given, and slowly, if the person has qualified, but the power is not so strong, and the more powerful they are, then it doesn't have to take a long time to become ripe. It can just boom, there and then give brain in a moment, like now.
What is there any dependence on the disciples?
Of course,
the receptacle.
Of course,
that they can catch that.
The disciples.
Now we're on this side. On this side.
They have to be positive. One thing. Who was in probably Gurudev's last program in the LA temple in Rose Avenue?
I was there. I cooked.
Right, there was a morning program. He came back from a morning. Gurudev came in the temple, and Shyamrani, Gurudev is speaking, and he said, "Any questions?" And Shyamrani had a question. So then Gurudev said, I'm just going to repeat his exact words. Gurudev said, are there any questions? And Shyamrani said, did he hear? Said, so, someone is searching for a guru. They should try to find a Mahabhagavat. They must find a Mahabhagavat. Otherwise they cannot find a guru. Gurudev said, it is absurd. It was and everyone was shocked. You couldn't hear the record. Gurudev said, it is absurd. He said, how does a person who's not even a Kanishta, how can he recognize who is a Mahabhagavat or who is not a Mahabhagavat or anything? And he said, and such persons are extremely, extremely rare as well. So the chances they will find, it's like very, very rare. He said, but Madhyam Bhagavat, he will play the role of Guru and help that jiva. Then Shamari said, but, he doesn't have everything. So if he doesn't have everything, he can't give everything. So then Gurudev quoted a verse of Bhagavad Gita. He said, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse where Krishna says that those who are worshipping the demigods, but with faith, then they get the results of their worship. But you should know that I'm the one who gives it. Krishna said. So Gurudev quoted that verse and said, and Guru-Tattva will work like that. If the Madhyam is sincere, and his disciple is also sincere, if there's anything lacking, Krishna will give through him. You can look. It was the last time Gurudev was in Rose Avenue Temple in the darshan after a morning.
It was right after Badger.
But when asked about if somebody takes initiation from a Kanishta,
oh no, disaster.
He said useless.
No, completely disaster. Because the Kanishta himself has tons of anarthas. And so if he'll accept any worship or praise or service or anything, his anarthas will just go insane. They'll all grow and he'll go down and be destroyed. He does not, the Kanishta has the Swarup Brahm. Doesn't properly know Siddhanta. Actually, before Ruchi, you don't know Siddhanta. Really. Before Ruchi, because in Bhakti Samrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami says that Yatsa Swop Opi Ruti Syat Tattva Bodhi Bhakti Tattva Vibodha Kaha. If there is the appearance of Ruchi, then he knows Bhakti Tattva. And that's why it said, whose faith is strong, Shastris Yukti Nahi Jani Dridha Shradaya. The Madhyamadikari whose faith is strong, but he doesn't have perfect Shastra Yukti. He doesn't understand the logic and reason of the scripture. That's the sign.
This is Madhyamadikari.
Madhyamadikari.
Not Madhyamadikari.
He doesn't know Siddhanta. So you're saying, how can a Krishnista be a guru? I'm saying, he doesn't even know Siddhanta. Even if he becomes a Madhyamadikari, he knows some Siddhanta.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know all the fine details, and there are things that they're unreconciled within him.
Yeah.
Then when he becomes a Uttam, then he knows Shastra Yukti Sunipun. He knows also.
And as Uttam Adhikari starts at Ruchi.
Yes.
There's Uttam Adhikari, there's Uttam Bhagavad. There's a difference.
So beginning from having taste.
When you speak about Adhikari, generally, it's in the context, or rather, the context in which Rupa Goswami is discussing it, is the Adhikari for performing Uttam Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti. And then the other message about the Bhagavatas, Bhagavat Marg is not Archan. There's Archan Marg, Panchatik Archan Marg, Vaidhi Bhakti, and then there's Bhagavat Marg. So when you say Madhyam Bhagavat, Uttam Bhagavat, then the levels are being measured according to the standard of the Bhagavata. So if you see in Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami gives the eligibility, qualifications of devotees in different stages. And first he gives so many verses from Shastra, like says something like, anyone who wears a tilak and kanti malar is a devotee. Like this, it's the Kanishta Adhikari in Vaidhi Bhakti, like this. And he's Kanishta Madhyama Uttam. But then he speaks about Bhagavat Marg. And then when he gives the qualifications, they're much, much higher. So there's a famous lecture by Bhakti Sansar Thakur called Brahma and Vaishnava. Remember he gave in that debate. And he gave that lecture, it became a book. So in that lecture, Bhakti Sansar Thakur said that the Uttam Adhikari in Vaidhi Marg is practically a Kanishta in Bhagavat Marg. He said practically a Kanishta. It's like he's just starting out, like that. So when we see any statement in Shastra, we should see what is the context. Is it the context of Archan and Vidhi Marg? Or is it the context of Bhagavat Marg Raganuga Bhakti? That's another.
Not like isolating a verse out from the entire.
No. Context is all important.
Because it seemed like Gurudev who was asking? Somebody was asking, maybe Shamrani, saying, he was speaking to GBC members, and they were asking if somebody doesn't really have maybe greed, something like that, then what type of guru they come in contact with? Then Gurudev said, I'm paraphrasing, might get somewhere. He said first they come in contact with a Kanishta guru, and then gradually they'll advance to a Madhyam guru, and then they'll get an uttam. So you're saying like this, that there's like a gradual...
there's an ideal, how it should be, and then there's reality, of how it actually works in real life. And that's why, let's say, if you look at Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says that you should take initiation from a guru who's young, who's a grihasta, and who lives in your village. It's like, what's this about?
Convenient.
And handsome. Should be handsome also. It's like they're in the list of qualities of the guru. It's a little bit weird, So, I mean, no, it sounds weird, it sounds strange, but why is it written like that in Hari Bhakti Vilas? Because if he's very handsome but qualified Brahmin and Vaishnav and living in your village, obviously he has some good samskars from previous life and everything, and he's there and you're there. He can take care of you on a daily basis. He can sit with you and chant, he can train you how to do everything and cook and serve the deities and everything like that. So Guru-Tattva has been described like in a practical way on local basis. But then in the Bhagavad Marg, it's understood that when there's a Mahabhagavat like Ishvara Puri or Madhavendra Puri, we'll just be traveling everywhere. So then when he comes through town, then that local guru is going to say, "Oh Maharaj, have a seat," and everything. And then his disciples, who is already prepared, making them kriti, making them refined, they hear from the Mahabhagavat, boom, and they get Prem. Like this.
And
so there's a kind of synergy between, the sincere and relatively qualified persons and the great souls. And in Shastra it's presented like that, how they work together to kind of help everyone. Is it satisfying to you?
And also...
Because there's the ideal and then there's the reality. And both aspects are given in scripture.
The point that I got it now, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, where Guru-Tattva Swami, he talks about faith. Then he says that the faith is coming from one of these three devotees, the Bhakti Prasad Prabhu,
Get the book in front of me and show, and we'll look at the exact...
Well, but because the same thing is again in Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami, come on.
Yeah, but look...
The same thing is there.
No. Gurudev has... I told you what Gurudev said. Yeah. Right? And he said it. So Gurudev's not going to go against Rupa Goswami or Vishnu, etc.
You told me what he said in regards to what?
The Rose Temple. Yeah, in the Rose.
Yeah, but he said different things in different circumstances.
Yeah, so we have to do the
Sangati.
Sangati.
Exactly. Yeah. So then when we do Shastra Sangati, then the Sangati is done with books like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu.
Yes.
So Srila Rupa Goswami is very specific.
Hari Bhakti, but Gurudev's not saying anything independent of Shastra. He's not saying something else. So what's written there, that's written there. Yeah. There are other things written in Hari Bhakti Vilas and other Shastras as well. Yeah. And Gurudev sometimes saying this and sometimes saying that. And then you get the whole picture.
We'll talk about it later.
So what, in regards to like that village guru, could that also be applied to like proper Gahasta ashram? Like the husband should cultivating his children, could he also give like Gopal mantra, teach them Archan, and then when high class Vaishnava is there,
if he has realized, someone should not give a mantra unless they realize the mantra. So the realization of mantra comes in the stage of dhyan. There's smaran, dharan, dhyan. So there's nam smaran, rup dharan, gun dhyan. And in dhyan, mantra is realized.
Gun dhyan is where? Asakti.
The gun dhyan, no, it will start in Ragamarg, it will start a little bit in Nishta, and the guns will appear in Ruchi. Gun and Parikas in the stage of Ruchi. You can see Vishnu Thakur's commentary on Satam Prasangam Mamaveri Samvido. Yeah.
So these village gurus, they have that?
He says in that commentary, if he associates with someone, not a super excellent devotee, he'll get Kriya Shakti and he'll do Bhajana Kriya. But if he gets Prakrista Sangha, then in the stage of Nishta, you'll get Samvit, some experience, some realization of Krishna's form. And then his qualities in Ruchi and associates, and then in Asakti, it's not mentioned there, but in Asakti we know the Swarup comes. That's in other places like Bhakti Sangha.
So from the Madhyam you can get Kriya Shakti?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Bhajana Kriya, yeah.
Okay.
You know what, it's really, the question that you're asking is completely answered in Chaitanya Shiksamrita, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the breakdown of who can give what to disciples in different stages of bhakti, and how long it takes to do it. That's what I was saying.
We've got translated in English, right?
I'll look.
That's what I'm looking for.
But it's there. It says, well, if the devotee has nista, then he can give this. If he has ruchi, he can give this, but it will take a long time. One of the things he says is there's a difference between if a devotee is saying in ruchi, then if he meets someone who has some sanskar from a previous life, this is another thing as well. Like you were talking about the guru, and he brought up the disciple. So there's different power and effect that a Vaishnava can have depending on the disciple himself, whether he has sanskars from a previous life as well. Because the Mahabhagavad can give sanskars to a person who's got no sanskars at all.
Right.
Just boom, like that. But if someone has a sanskar from the previous life and he meets a Madhyam Guru, then that Madhyam Guru can bring him further. But
because he's got the samskars already.
Yeah. So these are different, let's say,
Scenarios.
nuances. They're scenarios, different nuances regarding the Guru and the disciple and previous lives, and it's there in Chaitanya Shikshamrita. I'll find it for you. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll find all those exact verses, and we can discuss it in the class.